Hello and welcome to the RotoWire Fantasy Podcast. We're talking Sunday's 5-game DFS slate at DraftKings. I'm Adam Zdroik, joined by Ryan Belongia. Last week we didn't have Ryan, but Jordan was getting over COVID, so he had trouble speaking towards the end. Now, Ryan, you have some kind of cold, some kind of sickness. Hopefully, I'm not sick next week, but Ryan, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks. No, just my little son has a cold. He got the whole house sick. It's not too bad, but just apologies to the listeners in advance. I'll try not to sniffle too much. Try to use the mute button if I can. But yeah, congrats to Jordan. I saw he picked up a King of the Pitch ticket last week. That was nice. I got one the week before, so yeah, things are going well for the podcast host. We'll try to break down this Sunday slate, doing it a day early. So I don't know if we've had all the press conferences. I'm sure we don't have a lot of the news for some of these matches, but we'll try to predict some of the lineups and break it down for people.
Yeah, I think for the most part, I guess the biggest question is Chelsea. Yeah, we've pretty much had everyone else. Chelsea is the main question. Reece James probably not going to play. Aspilicueta, he went 45 minutes and then had stomach problems midweek, so we got a question there. And Marcos Alonso wasn't in the squad midweek, but he was supposedly training early in the week, so we got some questions with Chelsea. But I think everyone else is mostly fine. So unfortunately, Chelsea are the biggest favorite. But speaking of that,
Yeah.
Chelsea, yeah, you got Chelsea. No, go ahead. What do you got?
Yeah, I was just going to say it's basically the same sort of slate for the third slate in a row now. It's the third slate that we've had Chelsea as the biggest favorites, along with James Ward-Prowse. So on the last two slates, there's been a decision between Ward-Prowse and Mount or both. Similar thing here. Chelsea at home to Newcastle. Biggest favorite on the slate, highest implied goal total. And Southampton are in a good spot too. Them and Leeds are the next two biggest favorites, both at home, good matchups. Pretty high implied goal totals for Leeds and Southampton too. 1.9 for Leeds, 1.84 for Southampton, like higher than we normally see. Really good matchups, home against Norwich, home against Watford. So I mean, just at first glance, it looks like those are the three, quote unquote, best targets. Chelsea at home, Leeds at home, Southampton at home.
Yeah, for the most part, you got. I don't know. This is so we got Newcastle here. I think Newcastle, like, they're playing really well. That's pretty clear. I wonder if, like, their defense has been pretty solid. I'm not. It's kind of hard. So Newcastle are playing really well. Like, their defense has been good, but then you got Chelsea who are better, who seem to be better without Lukaku and are scoring more. So you got those two things going against each other. I'd be this isn't the same. This isn't the same matchup as like a Norwich, so that's definitely for sure. And then Leeds, I'm still uncertain what they're gonna do under Marsh. It's been a couple iffy matches from them. I do like Southampton against Watford though. I think that one kind of stands out to me just because Watford, coming off midweek bad match. What was it? Yeah, 4-0 at Wolves. Like, a short week, so I kind of like Southampton in that situation. Yeah, those ones definitely stand out. You kind of think that West Ham Aston Villa match would be higher scoring, but there's no Jared Bowen, and West Ham their home matches of late have been a little more defensive. So there are a couple matches that definitely stick out. So let's look at what we have, and we have Coutinho 9,300 after a couple good matches. The away underdog is the most expensive forward. Whew. So I guess there is so with Wolves here, they've been rotating a bit. Is Before we get into this, I guess trying to look here, see where Pedro Neto is at. He's 7,700. Is he duration here? He's going to be one of the few forwards that's set pieces as down here. But NATO 7,700 and Rafinha is not really taking set pieces anymore. He's 9,000. So what's our first look here?
Yeah, it's tough. So Coutinho 9,300. I think for cash games you can just skip over him on the road at West Ham. Not really taking set pieces. So Rafinha or maybe a guy from Wolves. I guess starting with Rafinha. Yeah, you mentioned he's only taken 2 corners in each of the last 2 games. Harrison was taking over him. Stuart Dallas was splitting with Harrison, and then Rafinha started taking them when Harrison gets subbed off. So maybe keep an eye on if Harrison isn't in the lineup. If I didn't see Harrison start, I'd want to go back to Rafinha here. But if Harrison's in there, then I don't know. You mentioned Leeds under Jesse Marsch. They were pretty awful midweek at home against Villa. And last
4
weekend,
shots. 4
yeah,
shots. It was like 0.12 expected goals.
Man, I mean, I watched a lot of the game too, and I wrote up Jack Harrison in my article for that game. I rostered Jack Harrison and some other Leeds guys too, which turned out to be a big mistake. And then you see, I was sort of surprised to see them as such big favorites with such a, high goal total relative to what we normally see for them. I guess Vegas or, who's ever making these odds are putting a lot into the fact that Norwich is just pretty bad and concede goals. So I think the matchup.
But there's a chance Bamford goes back into the starting 11. I mean, as we look at the goal odds here, he's minus 105 to score. I don't think he's going to start, but even if he starts, like I'd say 60 minutes is the max. Like he hasn't played more than 32 minutes since September. So I do want to point that out, though. He's 8,300. So.
Yeah, and maybe they will play better with an actual, proper number 9 in there instead of, Danny James up top, who really doesn't make sense there. I don't know. But back to the question of who to play it forward. I think you still can play Rafinha. He's still, even if Harrison starts, Harrison always gets subbed, and with all these games in this is the 3rd game in a week. Rafinha would probably end up taking some sets at the end, but I don't think you necessarily need to. If Harrison wasn't in there, then Rafinha looks like a pretty good play, in his old role that we've seen him in for most of the season. Wolves, Pedro Neto. I think it'd still be too risky for me. I just, he went 63 minutes in that other start, 20 some off the bench last time out. I just couldn't expect him to play 90. And on the road, I know Everton haven't been good, but I still probably wouldn't do it for cash. I'd rather try to roster Ward-Prowse and Mount or Ziyech or whoever, at least one of them, overpaying up at forward. One thing I saw was interesting. We don't know who's going to start for Wolves, but Podence, I believe, took the right-footed sets over João Moutinho last game. Podence split with Aït-Nouri. I think that's the first time we've seen that. Moutinho started, played 90 minutes, and didn't take a set piece. So, I think if it was Podence who starts again, makes him a little better for tournaments. Still don't want to consider these Wolves guys at those price tags on the road for cash. But you can.
Just in that range, Cucho Hernandez. So Firmino, I believe Firmino is out. I want to say either way, he left the last match. I think it was in the first half with an injury. He had a nagging injury for a little bit. And Cucho Hernandez, 6,600. He's probably split with Lusa for Watford. I mean, that's it's a Watford away from home, but in that prior role, what that was the I guess it was the Arsenal match. Yeah, he had goal and assist. He split set pieces in that one, but I mean, obviously you can't expect another goal and assist, but just set pieces in general here.
Yeah. hard to trust Watford. I do like Hernandez, but hard to trust Watford on the road. I mean, yeah, Hernandez played 90 minutes in back-to-back starts. I don't know if that's like good or bad. Is he going to start and play another 90 minutes?
Well, he's
Maybe.
doing that because of Sarr is out and Josh
Right.
King has like an issue of his own. So like Joao Pedro and Cucho Hernandez are starting because I mean they don't really have anyone else. So
He is like a pretty good fantasy or DFS player though. I mean, he gets
yeah,
the ball and he tries to shoot or he tries to cross.
he's definitely
As
like one
far
of
as
those ball hog guys that's good for DFS.
yeah, he thinks he's like the best player in the league, which you kind of like players like that,
Yeah.
but scored scored a really nice, almost bicycle against Arsenal. But anyways, so yeah, where do we go at forward then?
Pookie,
Um,
5,600 goals in back-to-back matches, going against Leeds, the worst defense in the league. No,
oh, okay, that's not a bad shout. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do it in cash, but for tournaments, yeah. Um,
Sargent, we can do the dinky do here. We got Sargent at 4K.
I don't know if I want to do that. Actually, that targeting Norwich against Leeds in the current state that Leeds are in might not be that bad.
I think Norwich are going to push.
You think Norwich are going to push?
Yeah, I mean they're sitting. Like Dean Smith came out today. He's like, we need points. They're stuck on 17 or whatever, and like they can't. They're not going to play like the defensive route and hope for like a scoreless draw. Like I think they're going to go for it because in that Chelsea match, like they opened. I don't know why, but they opened with the 5 defenders, and then at halftime, they swapped out one of their central defenders, went to their normal look with 4 in the back, and like it was 1-1 in the second half. Pookie got that PK, and I mean, according to Dean Smith, they took it to Chelsea. I don't know if that's an actual fact, but that's what he said. So that's
Okay.
like they're going for points. So like you
Yeah, no,
can't
they
sit in
need
the
to.
bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. No, that makes a lot of sense. Other guys that I guess sort of stand out here. These West
Chris
Ham guys.
Wood.
Yeah, okay. Chris
Chris
Wood, real
Wood.
quick.
He's back.
So
He's
here's a
back.
yeah. He finally scored, which was nice. I did roster a lot of Chris Wood midweek, but it didn't matter because I didn't have Mount who scored like 35 or something. But Chris Wood, interesting stat. He has started 7 games for Newcastle the last 7 games. They've won 6 and drawn 1, so they are undefeated with Chris Wood through 7 games. Is that going to
Did you see the
continue with?
interview with him?
Yeah, I did. That was
He
funny.
knocked himself. Yeah.
Knock on wood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, away to Chelsea. No, not for me. I think the prices on the West Ham guys are okay. Bowen being out. So the set pieces should be Cresswell and Fornals. So
Yeah.
not these forwards, but Antonio 6'4" is about the cheapest we've seen him. Always plays 90 minutes. Home matchup. West Ham slight favorites. I don't think that's that bad. Timo Werner 6,200 if he starts. I think that's fine. But like nothing really stands out. I see if you're looking at our goal scoring odds up on cheat sheet on RotoWire. Dominic Calvert-Lewin relatively cheap for his odds. Everton have been pretty bad recently, but Calvert-Lewin's cheaper than we've seen him in a while. And then guy I'm looking at, I know we don't have him in our expected lineup, but I think there's a pretty good chance Southampton might rotate 1 or 2 guys after losing to Newcastle. Adam Armstrong, 5,300 in a great matchup, home to Watford. Definitely look at that for tournaments. And I don't even think, when you're getting down to 5,300, and if you're going to use this, cash for sure. Like if you're going to use your salary on, Mount, Ward-Prowse, maybe Alonso if he starts, maybe some other expensive defenders, you got to pay down. So I don't think that's that bad. I don't know.
Yeah, I've played Armando Broja like too many times. It was after like that Tottenham match. He had a pretty nice goal, and I was like, oh, "This guy's good." And like he was playing through an injury there at a point, and he just really hasn't done anything in like the last five or so matches. But this could be the one right here. Depending who starts, but you got
Yeah,
Adams, Armstrong, Broja there.
great matchup. Great matchup. I like Broja. Just not like the type of forward that has much of a floor.
Yeah.
Like a guy like Armstrong, he gets the ball and he's taking shots from everywhere, sort of more mobile, more creative. Broja's more of like the number 9, but yeah, great matchup. Good tournament plays. That's a good spot for Southampton. You'd think they'll bounce back after losing midweek.
Yeah, the lone worry I have for Southampton is like they tend to like if they get a goal, if they're up a goal in like the 60th minute or something, they'll like sit back and just wait for the 1-0 result. Like they've done that. There's like something going around Twitter where if that's the case, like they have like this set break something like 70th minute, give their guys rest and something crazy like that. But so that's the only worry about like the upside Southampton, but it is against Watford, so they could pour the goals on. So I'm not trying to say that they're only gonna score one goal or whatever, but
Right, I know what you mean.
um, Danny Ings, we got Ings and who am I trying to think of? Ollie Watkins, Ings and Watkins at West Ham.
Yeah,
Guys, kind of
sure.
yeah. I mean, just with Villa's form, like I mean, you could technically go with like another Villa stack. I mean, it's not like West Ham are playing overly well right now, so
No, don't generally love to try to attack teams away to West Ham, but you're right. They were just played in the Europa League, yesterday or Wednesday.
you said that about Brighton a couple weeks ago. I just
Oh
want to
man, I
point.
couldn't have been more wrong about that.
I just want to point that one out.
Yeah, no, you're right. West Ham have been in a little better form, but
Yeah,
yeah. Let's see, one other guy I see that could get a start here. Joe, is that his name? Yeah, Joe Gell.
Gelhart.
Yep, 4,600. Home to Norwich. Lead, second highest implied total. So keep an eye out for that too. 4,600. That'd be fine. Gelhart, he's looked pretty good in his limited time, like promising young striker.
Yeah, I
I don't know.
would worry that 50, 60 minutes just because like you got Bamford on the bench, so even if he starts, like you're getting 2/3 of a match from Gelhart. That's the lone worry there.
Right. Yep.
So forward's kind of iffy, but midfield we got JWP, we got James Ward-Prowse 9,800, and the question is, what is Chelsea's lineup going to look like? Because Mason Mount tore it up midweek with no other set pieces on the team. He's 9,900. There's a chance Hakeem Ziyech comes in 9,600. And then we also have the question of Marcos Alonso, which is you got to kind of include him in this conversation. He's 6,700 at defense. So how do we look at this for how we want to put together our lineups? Because I guess we have to look at it so Ziyech and Mount probably aren't going to start together. Well, I guess we can get that out of the way. But we have to look at it if Alonso's going to start and if he's not going to start. So what do we think with that situation there?
Okay. Well, if it's like last game and Mount starts without Alonso and Ziyech and Mount's going to take everything, probably rank him like just slightly above JWP just because he plays for Chelsea and probably has more upside. I mean, he showed it last game with 36. He's had these huge multiple goal and assist games a few times this season. If Alonso starts, and he's probably going to split with Mount, then yeah, you could make an argument for Ward-Prowse. I think like it's a really good spot for Southampton, maybe even better. You mentioned at the start, Chelsea against Newcastle. Newcastle's been playing well, might be a little bit tougher than Southampton, Watford. I don't know though. I've gotten this one wrong these last two slates. I had Ward-Prowse where it mattered midweek and no Mount, and then I had Mount when he scored 5 points against Burnley last weekend. But he started Chelsea's last 4 matches, and they've all been, within the last 2 weeks. So, and they play next week in the Champions League. So you could see Ziyech starting here too.
Yeah, that midweek slate, I tried to do both Ward-Prowse and Mount, and I think that lineup actually cashed, but it was right on the edge because I was stuck with was Sargent in that? It must 0.8. I had to put Sargent in because that was my only route if I wanted at least 3 decent defenders. Granted, Ryan Fraser busted, but
yeah.
Do you think putting together Ward-Prowse with one of those Chelsea guys is a good route here? I mean, especially for cash games, probably, right?
Yeah. If you can fit it without ruining your lineup too much, definitely. I had a few lineups with both Mount and Ward-Prowse midweek, and I made it work with Bruno Guimaraes for 3,300. But the rest of my lineup still wasn't good enough to do anything somehow. But
you had Ryan Fraser.
Yeah, that was part of it. Also, any Leeds guys, that was part of it too.
Yeah, Harrison probably.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I would try to get both of them. As far as trying to pick between them, I don't know. It's a toss-up pretty much.
Mm-hmm. But would you go JWP over those guys if Alonso starts?
Well, if Alonso starts with Ziyech, I just assume that Ziyech is going to take pretty much everything. Okay. If Alonso starts with Mount, then I think it'd probably be closer to a split. I'd feel safer with Ward-Prowse in cash. Just the matchup's so good too, so it makes it okay. Or normally I just go with the Chelsea guy over the Southampton guy, but yeah, home to Watford, Southampton should, dominate possession and chances for the majority of the match. You'd at least think so. So he's probably the safest.
Yeah, this could be like a 15-point floor match, and then if he gets on the score sheet, you're already looking at 20 plus.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, but if you don't want to use those two guys, there are other options. You got Anthony Gordon here. I don't know if it's the best spot. You're against Wolves, but Anthony Gordon has been someone that's pretty much come through for us in previous slates. He's 7,800, kind of a tough price, I'd say. We got Jack Harrison, 6,700. Stuart Armstrong, not a floor play, but he seemingly takes a lot of shots. He's taken multiple shots pretty much every start since coming in. He had about a floor of 10 points last match against Newcastle. He is an interesting option. I will say 6,500. Do you like anything else in this mid range? Ruben Neves is more expensive now. John McGinn's more expensive now.
Yeah, I'd have a little bit of interest in Anthony Gordon if Damari Gray doesn't start, then Gordon would probably take just about everything. But still, more of a tournament play, but still a guy that has upside. Everton have been playing bad. And Wolves, we always talk about how they've been involved in a lot of low scoring games and haven't been a great team to target for DFS, but yeah, Gordon's okay. Man, Harrison, I'm a little biased because he scored 3 points for me.
Yeah, not 2 times in 1 week.
Oh man, I mean, he'd get subbed. I wouldn't do it in cash, but for tournaments, yeah, sure, because he can score. He can score a goal in 60, 70 minutes. But yeah, no, not for cash. I can't trust Leeds the way they're
Whoa,
playing.
whoa, whoa. Ryan Fraser is a midfielder. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Holy
Yep.
cow. I'm just
I know.
scrolling. I'm like, what? Fraser? Wow, this is
Yeah,
something.
and now it's almost like a little unfortunate for it to happen on this slate
Yeah.
because it's a slate where at least I wouldn't have played him at all as a defender, and I feel like other people still would have at least a little bit. But yeah, now Fraser at midfielder away to Chelsea. Yeah, just no interest there. The next guy I do kind of like is Fornals. I just think it's a good price tag. Everyone on West Ham is priced down from where we
Hmm.
normally see them. It's not a great spot against the Aston Villa team that's playing well, but it's a big price discount, and Fornals is splitting sets with Cresswell. So for 5,100, I'd be fine going there. Your guy, your same range as
Billy,
your guy, Billy Gilmore. Yeah, who,
you can't you
just like
can't
you
give
said,
you
just like
can't
you
put any
said,
hate here.
crushed last week. I'm not hating on Billy. I don't like that he played 74 minutes and that he seems to be getting subbed lately. But he's okay for cash games. He's been taking everything for Norwich. I mean, basically everything. So it seems, yeah, it seems fine.
Man, Billy Gilmore. I was getting yelled at last week by Jordan. Like, he
Uh
can't be
huh.
on the show this week, but I guaranteed the 10-point floor, and he came through with like almost 15 in 74 minutes. I will say, so Norwich played midweek against Chelsea. Billy Gilmore could not play in that match because he's on loan from them. So he didn't play midweek. He is rested more than pretty much every other regular for Norwich. So I will say that's going in his advantage here in this spot against the worst, what has been the worst defense in the league.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but I was watching that Norwich game, and he had a great game, but it could have been better.
He
Like
almost had an
early in the
assist in
first
like
early in the first half, he was clean through on goal. I mean, you never see Gilmore get this far up the pitch. I mean, I thought for sure he was going to score. It was like 1-on-1 with the keeper from 12 yards out. So it could have been a big game for your guy, Billy Gilmore.
it was Pookie missed. It was like the second or fourth minute or something. Gilmore had a pass to Pookie, and Pookie just couldn't put it away. Like he's pretty much 1-on-1 with the keeper. He just couldn't put it away. Yeah, it could have
Oh, he
been
had a
it could have
chance for
been
an
better,
assist too?
but yeah,
Yeah, I know. Hmm.
but 5,300. So I mean that's still in range. Like I mean Jordan compared him to Matinho, but I don't think that's Matinho. I think he's better than Matinho.
No, yeah, I love Jordan, but it's just not a great comparison because Moutinho never takes more than half the sets, and Gilmore's been taking literally all the sets. So yeah, I mean Moutinho just doesn't really do anything if he doesn't have sets. But I don't like that
So
Gilmore's been getting subbed. But
yeah.
yeah, still it's okay still.
Yeah, I guess popping up here. So I don't know how many set pieces Lanzini's been taking. We could look at this, but without Jared Bowen, do you think Lanzini could actually be taking set pieces, maybe alongside Cresswell instead of Fornals?
I don't think so. I think only if Fornals is out.
Okay.
It seems like Fornals takes their right-footed sets over Lanzini from what I've seen and from the recent. But yeah, if Fornals wasn't in, then yeah, I think Lanzini would split. Something to keep an eye on. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
unless I'm
like I
missing something, right? Lanzini hasn't been taken in a while.
no, he hasn't taken any in a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Pretty sure it's going to be Fornals and Cresswell.
Yeah, Fornals went basically 90 on Thursday, so I mean there is
All
a
right.
chance Fornals doesn't start. So that is something to look at. There's not a ton else down here. Like Douglas Luiz is sitting down here at 4,500. He's still, I don't know, away from home. I don't think that's the play though.
No,
Um,
me either.
That's
Yeah,
kind of
I mean,
it. I mean,
yeah, that's kind of it. I probably wouldn't want to go below that 5K range.
unless you
Uh,
want a random John Joe Shelby goal, which it kind of pops up here and there. I guess it was
yeah,
the assist last match, not the goal. Sorry.
just don't love at Chelsea, you know.
No, no,
Uh,
definitely not. Yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, I don't know. Like you got those guys in the 5K range. I try not to go too far down here. It's uh it's nothing I don't want really.
yeah, Imran Luza split sets
Right,
last time
38.
out, and 3,800. I don't know. He could again. His full, he his log would have looked a little better if he didn't end up with a yellow card. But yeah, I don't
Right.
know. 3,800.
Yeah,
Don't really want to do that.
we keep talking about all these West Ham guys. You got Vlasic down here at 3,700. Like he's one of the guys that could start over Fernals. It's not my route, but like if you want West Ham, they're home, they're favored. So the other guys are cheap. Like we could say pretty much their entire team here just because it seems like they're underpriced.
Yeah, I mean, if you like West Ham, they definitely make sense in tournaments this week. Yeah, like this is the time to play them. Uh, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Nothing else is
defender. Yeah.
nothing else is standing out to me down here. I guess if Southampton end up rotating Gineppo's min price 3K wouldn't be the worst thing, but yeah, move on to defender.
Yeah, I almost thought it was a must play three defender slate, but I'm not entirely sold on that. It's not like a slate where you got Fraser and uh whatever target in a favorable spot. So like those guys, like you don't have those guys under consideration. But I mean, we have the Alonso question. So if Alonso starts, would you play him at 6,700?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Um, if it was him and Ziyech, then I think you could make the argument not to, just because I don't think Alonso would really take sets like we were talking about. But he's still going to have pretty decent floor just from open play. Um, if it's Alonso with Mount, yeah, then I want to play him just because uh, still would seem considerably better, I guess, than these other guys. So just going through, you mentioned we don't have Fraser as a defender anymore. Target's been playing well, but we don't want to play him away to Chelsea. Um, there's no guys on Everton we really want to play. Wolves, 8 Nori, yeah, not great for 5,800. Doesn't really seem to do too much, away from home. So no one on Norwich. Leeds, yeah, Stuart Dallas. I don't know. He got a price bump now. It's a good matchup, but only for me, like we've been talking about, only if he plays in the midfield. I don't want him at left back or right back. I mean, it's fine, but it's not like a priority. The South,
Even though he's splitting sets?
yeah, no, I think it's. I don't know, man. I'm scarred from Leeds.
I
I
can
am
tell. I can
seriously.
tell.
He's fine. Yeah, Dallas is fine. I just like him much better if he's playing in the midfield. Yeah, splitting corners though, big favorites. Maybe I'm selling him a little short.
You
But that's
better hope you better hope Bamford doesn't start and they score 5 goals.
yeah. Then it won't be a good day for me. Uh, so I think then the best options are probably in this Villa West Ham game. Cresswell, like, for sure going to take everything, all the left-footed stuff without Bowen there. And Dina was taking most of the sets against Leeds, even like, running to the opposite side of the pitch for an in swinger. So I think you could go there too. Him and Cresswell are similar salaries.
Matty Cash has been on a run.
On fire. Yeah. You know,
Jeez.
good play. Good, he's fine option for tournaments, but can't really play him in cash over guys that have set pieces. I think these Southampton guys are good for tournaments too.
I think they're fine with for cash games though. Like you got a positive
Sure.
matchup here. It's not like
Yeah.
they're going to be sitting back at all.
No, but like, you can't start Livramento over Cresswell, for instance. I mean, yeah,
You could.
yeah, you could, but like you can't. I know what you're saying. Like he should have a better floor just if you take set pieces out of it, but when they're the same salary, yeah,
You don't think it matters that Villa are dominating teams and barely allowing set pieces?
yeah, no, it does matter. Is that what's happening?
Um, Unfortunately, no. I'm speaking. I'm
Okay.
speaking incorrectly. Let me pull up I
Okay.
pull up the numbers here. So, Villa won 2-0 at Brighton. Brighton had 7 corners, 0.63 expected goals. This last match, Leeds had 3 corners, 0.17 expected goals. 4-0 against Southampton. Southampton had 7 goals, 1.06. So, I guess I was lying. I mean, I think it does depend though that like if Villa are leading these matches the majority of the way, like the final, I don't know how many of these corners were in like the final 20 minutes. Like
Yeah, you're right.
let's say this is a 0-0 match or something, going into the final 20 minutes, there's not going to be that many corners. Like it could have
You're right.
been, yeah. So I don't know exactly. I'm not looking into the number by number here. So, but I mean, Villa are playing really well. I don't think that can be ignored.
No, no. Can't be ignored. You're right. I agree with you. Um, Fading West Ham doesn't seem like the worst option. This could be one of those things where the salaries are all down for them because DK just knows they're going to bust. We see this with the DraftKings pricing. All these guys' prices come down, and they never seem to have good games. But yeah, no, I don't know. I'm still good. I got to play Cresswell with no Bowen.
Yeah. Looking down, I think Fernando Marcal is probably going to start. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it some more, I don't think Johnny can start back-to-back matches on a short week. He could. I mean, he couldn't even make it 90 in that midweek match. So I think Marcal could be in there. He's 4,400.
Yeah, I
Ben
guess.
Johnson
Yeah,
4,200.
all
Hey,
these guys.
I'm
Johnson
just
too.
I'm just giving out wingbacks here for free.
No, I know. I know. Uh, I'm not the biggest Marcal guy. Um,
I think that's a personal problem.
you like him? I
uh,
mean,
he's.
away to Everton, he's not. Yeah, I like wingbacks. He's not very
Did
mobile.
you see Everton's back line play? Like we were projecting Jared Branthwaite to get the start because Michael Keane was terrible in the previous match. They're starting John Joe Kenny. Like they're a mess right now. Sure, it could turn around, but
Yeah,
they
okay. And
couldn't.
Wolves just scored 4.
Wolves are
Yeah,
good. They got
I
best
get it.
attack in the league.
I like Wolves. I like Wolves. I get it. Okay. It's fine. It's a good price for a wingback.
Yeah,
You can
there you
get an
go.
assist. You can get an assist.
Um,
You might like this though. I would play Rudiger before I played Marcal.
yeah,
Um,
he'll start again. He was rested midweek, so
no, I'm not like touting Rudiger, but just look at last game: 3 shots, 10 points, 31
I
shots already this year. We've talked about him.
I feel like I played him last game. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it might have been a showdown. I feel like I recently played him and he almost scored. It had to be that game.
He always almost scores.
That's true. That's true.
Uh, I've seen some stuff also. Maybe Malang Sarr starts at left back if Alonso doesn't. I think that'd be okay for 3,600.
Instead of Saul.
Yeah, Saul's been decent, but he's played a couple games in a row now,
Yeah, he's
so you
got
never know.
back-to-back 90s.
Yeah, there's going to be some rotation. Leeds, Leeds now with Firpo out, there's a chance they start one of these really cheap guys. But there's also a chance that it's just Dallas and Ailing back to like their positions from a
Yeah,
couple years ago. But I don't know. Leeds is in shambles right now, so who knows what that
right.
lineup will look like. Um,
Ben Godfrey is a possibility. He'd probably play center back. I don't know if he'd take the spot of Kenny there. But Ngakia for Watford, 3,400. Like I already mentioned, the Firmino injury. There's a
mhm.
chance, it's just a fullback here. I'm not saying go out and play him, but it's a fullback at 3,400, and I wouldn't say Southampton are like a dominant team like Chelsea. So
Yeah, sure. I'm probably playing. I'm probably playing center backs over
right,
those the guys.
yeah, that's about it. Go for some center backs if you want, but
Yeah, if you're
Willie,
down in this range,
yeah,
I think.
Willie Boley started last match. He's 2,500.
uh,
So there you go. Wolves center back for cheap. That's what we
yeah.
all want to play.
Mm,
Actually, Craig Cathcart might play as well at right back. He's 2,600, so he could be a 2,600 fullback there for Watford. Again, if you want to play him, go ahead. But he's basically a center back, so he's just one of those guys. So play him if you want. Good luck.
right. Expect play them and be happy with your 2 points.
Yeah. So Chelsea, 47% clean sheet odds. We got Mendy at 5,900. And then pretty much Leeds, Southampton, Everton are all in the about the 35% clean sheet range. Southampton a little higher at 39%. And, unsurprisingly, those guys are all Forster's 5,800, Meslier 5,700. I don't see any reason to, play any of those guys above Mendy really. It's either go Mendy or go in the lower range here. Actually,
Yeah.
I guess Pickford's 5,200, but I mean, do you want to trust Everton's back line? No. So
Oh my, I mean, I would just never play Pickford for 5,200. No. Yeah, no,
35%.
it's gotta be Mendy or oh man, I don't see how that's possible. You got phew, Everton and Wolves, they're just going in opposite directions too. Yeah, sure, I mean, play him in tournaments, but yeah, it's Mendy or go down. Like, Mendy and Forster are the same price basically. Even Leeds, Meslier. I mean, no, you like, yeah, just in tournaments, maybe because no one's gonna play those guys. But yeah, I think if you have the salary, Mendy seems fine. But
Yeah,
I don't know. It doesn't seem like a priority against Newcastle, who haven't lost in 7 games.
very true. I'd probably like the West Ham fade. My West Ham fade, Emiliano Martinez is 4,600. I don't.
Yep.
He's not going to be that popular. The odds just aren't there. But like I said, no Jaron Bowen, and he's been their best goal scorer this season. So
Yeah, I think Emmy makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I mean, no Bowen. Villa's playing great. West Ham traveled to Spain midweek. Yeah, that's a good call. Um, Tim Krul for 4K against a
definitely,
struggling Leeds team seems fine. Uh, yeah, I don't know. Those are probably the guys I'm leaning towards.
yeah, I'd probably do Cruel over Foster at 3,900 or Dubravka at 3,700. I
I
don't know.
think me too. Yeah, I think me too. I wish I had numbers on this, but it feels like, yeah, no. Feels like Southampton take more shots than Leeds and Everton. So like Foster may have more chance at saves, but I don't know. I don't really care. Who cares about that?
Yeah, I could look at that number, but it's not that
Doesn't
important.
matter.
All right, I think that's it here. So last week I asked Jordan for his favorite play, and he couldn't do it. It's just not the way he plays. So
Yeah. Uh, Jordan doesn't like that word favorite.
Yeah, it was my mistake. I shouldn't have said
Who
that.
does he like? He doesn't know any of these guys personally, so he
Yeah.
doesn't like any of them. I'll try to give you somebody. So what?
What do we got? What do we got?
Yeah,
It's
okay.
definitely it's not going to be so you should go like Pookie if you're really down in Leeds. Just go full Leeds fade here, right?
No. My play, like, he's not even in our lineup, but who I will.
Oh, Adam
I will
Armstrong.
there it is. Adam
Okay.
Armstrong. I'll have a lot of him if he starts. So could be him. I'm trying to see. I'm not gonna say Mason Mount or James Ward-Prowse. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I'll
was
go
gonna
with.
say, bro, do
You're gonna
it,
say
go it.
Broja?
Yeah, just say Armstrong if he's not starting Broja.
Yeah, so I don't want Broja. Yeah, no, I don't know. Because Armstrong's cheaper, and I feel like he has a little bit higher floor, and just will end up with a bigger score.
Shea Adams.
Broja, yeah, no, Che's too expensive to be like
Stuart
a favorite
Armstrong.
play. Stu, yeah, he's
I
treated
like
me
Stu.
very well recently, but now I don't know. I'm not going to go there for 6,500. I don't think.
That's why you should go there.
Because people aren't. Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I will, but it's not going to be like a cornerstone. A part of my lineups. Adam Armstrong. I'm gonna say
All right.
I'm struggling to come up with
I like
anyone
it.
else.
I like it.
If you
I'm going with the Leeds fade here. Uh,
okay,
pretty much, I'm going just the trio here: Rashika, Sargent, Pookie. I guess I should pick one of them, huh? I guess you want to. So you're gonna want to put Gilmore in your lineup. You got 5,300. So I mean, if that's your route, you probably don't need to go all the way down to Sargent at 4,000. So who do you think, Rashika 6,800 or Pookie at 56? What should we do here? I mean, we get the
I mean,
PKs though. I
if
don't
it,
know if
yeah, I was
Rashika's
gonna say
worth it without corners.
if it was for me, I'd start with the cheapest. So Sargent, yeah, I like the Sargent call. Then Pookie though. Sargent though, 4K. He's also American. Saw him score 2 nice goals against Watford. He's got it in him.
Yeah, for speaking for cash games, if you want to do a Mount GPP or a Mount JWP, you could. The move is to put Sargent and Gilmore in your team. That's not probably the best cash move, but it's not the worst cash move. Like I said, I actually won. I hit my cash lineup, a single entry cash lineup with Sargent in my lineup because I had Mountain and JWP midweek. So it's
Yep.
maybe he gets 1 point, but maybe he gets more than 1 point. Like I
Yeah, I think
said,
it's
like
fine.
yeah, like
He's like
4K. So
he's probably the cheapest forward that's going to start. So, yeah, if you can get Mount and JWP in there, it makes a lot of sense.
there you go. All right, that's what we got. So there will be no article. We're just doing this podcast, so you have to listen to this podcast. You cannot read about Sunday slate at all. Yeah, so that's all we got. And I don't know. I just been living in day by day here. I don't even know what next week looks like. So we'll see everyone next week. We're gonna have something. I don't know what it is, but Ryan, thanks for joining me for doing this wonderful slate. If you've been listening on YouTube, please make sure to like the video, podcast form, subscribe, do it all. Leave us some comments. Thanks for listening. It's been a long Friday. It's been definitely a long Friday for Ryan. He is on UK time, so it's getting to midnight for him. So thanks for joining me, Ryan, and good luck to everyone for Sunday's 5 gamer.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Good luck, everybody.